Eiffel Tower listeners, my name is Oliver G. I'm coming to you from the city of Paris, as always. I'm very, very fortunate today to have a guest in my studio. It's unbelievable, considering everyone's on lockdown, that I managed to find someone. An artist, a shoe designer, a handbag designer, and an all-around... She's pretty, even.
Oh!
You shouldn't say that about your guests. But she is.
Are you flirting with a guest? That is highly, highly unprofessional.
But it's all right because it's my wife.
Hi.
Lina. Goes in some circles as lovely Lina.
Yes.
In some circles...
Unfortunately.
Most people who email... A lot of people email you and say hi to Lina. They spell it Lena. I never correct them. I never correct them. But for the record, everyone, it's Lyna. No.
Lina? No, that's Australian.
It's
Lina.
Lina, and she's going to be our guest today. And what we're going to do is talk about how everyone is affected by this lockdown. We're going to have some fun, which is the whole point of all this. The podcast, even in general, is to be entertaining. And in a time like this, I think entertainment is really important. But also to give you the facts and a look at this historic time for Paris. So that's the idea. Shall we play the jingle?
Let's do it.
There's the jingle there from Slim and the Beast. Usually I'd say this show is sponsored by someone, but as you probably heard, all the tourists have cancelled their trips to Paris. Usually I have a sponsor for the episodes, but that's on hold as well, which is a good reason for me to put out a shout to Patreon. Patreon.com/The Eiffel Tower. If you enjoy this podcast, if you've been meaning to sign up for a while,
become an MVP.
Become an MVP, a most valuable player, a most valuable patron, and sign up.
That's great.
Please do it, guys. It's important now, and I wouldn't ask unless it was important. So, we're going to talk about Paris on lockdown.
We are.
It's been a pretty interesting time.
And we're only on... Well, I count this as day 4.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people started counting earlier because the cafes and restaurants shut earlier
that was
than...
day 0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I count it as day 4 because we're not allowed to go out.
Exactly.
Essentially,
so
at all.
This is the 4th day that we haven't been allowed to leave the apartment. So if you're tuning in for the first time, I'll sum it up really quickly. They've said you cannot leave home unless for a valid reason, and that valid reason is pharmacies or food, basically.
Yeah.
And to do it, you need to fill out a form that says, I solemnly swear that I am doing this.
And I'm up to no good.
And you have to sign it, and no one took it seriously. So I got the latest figures. This might shock you, Lina. Since we've been doing this, this is how it started. Just to catch everyone up, if you were caught without your note or outside for not a good reason, €38 fine. Mm-hmm. No one took it seriously. It's now up to €135 fine. These are the figures, right?
Is that it? That's the lowest figure?
Yeah. So here are the stats. This is how many times the police have stopped someone and asked them for their paper. You ready?
Yeah.
375,000 across France.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And out of them, 18,000 people have been fined.
Oh my.
So...
Wow.
That's
incredible.
Yeah, I think this will be interesting. I know a lot of Americans and Australians listen to this show. You guys are a little bit behind us. So this is essentially probably what you'll go through too. But what we've noticed is a lot of people flouting the rules.
Yeah, you see a lot of people you see kind of groups of young men going on the street drinking and not really taking it seriously. So
and we can see this from we should say we can see this from our balcony. Lina doesn't see this from her bar stool.
From the street?
No. We've seen police even from our balcony going around.
You see all sorts from balconies. I feel like rear window situation here. I feel
funny
like all of Paris is on a rear window.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because that's one of my notes for today's episode: balcony life.
Balcony life.
Because it's a big part. I think any of you people...
Great hashtag.
Any of you guys listening at home will have seen... anyone who's following on social media will have seen that I've been posting pictures and videos from our balcony. We're very fortunate, actually, to live on the top floor and have 3 balconies.
Well, there's sun here, so that's
and
nice.
Sun.
Yeah.
But when I say 3 balconies, don't misunderstand me.
That sounds very luxurious. It's more like windows.
The total area
with like a bar.
Yeah, the total area of all 3 balconies, if you put them together, like I don't know square feet or square meters to explain it, but if you put them all together, it would be about the size of a large poster on your wall.
Or a small shower base. That is a
You think it's
weird
that small?
comparison.
You think it's as small as a shower base?
It's tiny. When you sit down there, it's like my bum just fits.
Yeah.
I don't have a very big bum.
So there you go. That's what we have for balconies. But we see a lot and we hear a lot. And I thought it'd be cool because at 8 o'clock every night, everyone gets out on the balconies and starts clapping, and it's a really nice moment.
It was so nice. And I love that it keeps on going, and it just gets like stronger and stronger for every day.
Yep, and I've got some recording of it. I'm going to play it now. See if you can hear.
It's really heartwarming.
There's someone down on the first floor who every day he gets like a spoon or something and bangs a pot. I think he rolls it around inside the pot, so it's like little.
Yeah.
And then someone started doing woo woo woos. And I got in on. I think I did a woo 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 or a ya ya ya.
Ya ya.
So you're gonna hear it from the other night. This is what it sounds like. So there you have it.
That's
woo
great.
woo woos, ya ya ya. It's gonna be getting bigger.
I think it's really nice. It's great energy. And I feel like, should we do something new? If you guys have any ideas of what kind of noises that we could add to this cacophony,
Ooh.
let us know.
I want to sing. I want to go out there and I want to go. This is what I want to do, but I don't have the nerves to do it. But I want to go boom ba boom ba dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. No, rien de rien.
And cue the real Edith.
And sing. I want to say people start singing, but I don't know if it's the right feeling, that song.
Well,
I don't regret anything.
We're still in Paris.
Yeah, I'll think about that. Send in your tips. Send them in. But balconies, the other interesting thing, Lina, you've started becoming friends with our next door neighbour who we've never really talked to.
No, this is great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen them once before, and suddenly, I think we're friends.
Yeah. Well,
It's very interesting.
Well, something that brings everyone out to balconies is when there's commotion on the street.
Yeah.
So, for example, the other day I heard someone go, "Hey, get out of here, I'm calling the police." And he called the police. And I went out and looked down onto the street, and so did everyone around me. And then you sort of get talking. But you and her, you're clicking.
Yeah, we're clicking.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it.
And I wonder if that's something that's happening around Paris. People are starting to become...
I bet that's happening. You know, I have an idea what would be nice if the mayor of the city is listening, which she might be.
Anne Hidalgo?
Yeah, she
Unlikely.
might be. Well, I think
you know the mayors that I've had on the show though follow on Instagram and comment and stuff.
Okay, great. So
maybe.
guys, mayors, if you're listening, how about bringing some entertainment to the streets? Like have a little parade, bring some horses.
But parade
couple
is
of
getting people
clowns.
together.
Okay, well,
What about
very spread out. So first you have a horse, and then
Yes.
10 meters after you
Yes.
get a clown, and then 10 meters after that you get like a juggler or whatever. I
He
don't
could
know.
just be someone walking, playing the
Just
harmonica.
someone singing.
Yeah,
It'd be
I like
great.
It. Okay, well
Like
there
a
you
walking
go.
band, just walking the streets.
Okay, mayors, you know what to do. Just the mayor of the 18th. We don't really need the other ones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing. The other balcony thing. What is a big shame is a lot of people have been leaving Paris, fleeing, you might say, right on the midnight.
Some may say that. Is that maybe only your jealousy talking
What,
because
some of
we're
our-
stuck here?
Some of our friends went to chateaus and didn't invite us, but
No hard feelings.
no, I've bunkered down
Yeah.
here in Paris. But what I thought more was before midday, so the midnight before the day we all had to go into lockdown, I bumped into a neighbor who was gearing up some provisions and getting on his motorbike, like a guy that I kind of know from the neighborhood. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "We're getting out of here, man. We're going down to Nice." And I go, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, still a lot of people there, but at least we got the beach." And I think a few people have been doing that.
Yeah, I mean, when it's like this, the city's not really the place to be,
No.
I think. Imagine being out in the countryside.
It would be
At
really
least you
nice.
have a garden.
You still need to have your note, though.
Yeah, I know, but like running around in the forest. Oh
I
yeah.
missed that.
I mean, we kind of have. It's definitely a new sort of life for us here because we're like, shall we meet in the living room for a date tonight?
And I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. Our apartment is tiny. It is 30
Yep.
square meters, which is, I did it the other day, I can't remember. I think it's about 250 square feet.
I don't know. Someone make the conversion.
People in
but-
American Australia will be laughing.
Yeah,
They'll be
someone
laughing. Laugh
sent
it up,
me-
guys.
Someone sent me a message. It's like, "Oh my, you're living in the size of my bedroom."
Someone said that?
Yeah, I was
Don't
like,
rub
"Oh,
it in.
no."
Someone put on Instagram if Oliver and Lina can survive in 300 square meters without getting a divorce, we can all do this.
Yeah.
Not 300 square meters.
Oh,
300 square
gosh,
feet.
no.
I wish.
Yeah, mind you.
It's very small.
It's tiny.
But
But full of
before
love.
I want to talk about going out on the street.
Yeah.
Because we've done that. But I want to first talk about the fact that everyone's gone means that the show that we usually have from our balcony is gone.
I know.
That rear window you mentioned before.
Across the way.
I don't want to sound like we're actually rear windowing people.
They have massive windows. I'm sorry.
We look into them and they look into us.
They
across
know what's
a
going on.
Narrow yeah. One of them, a couple of weeks ago, one of them tapped on his watch and he's like, "Shouldn't you be doing a podcast episode?" Right? Like, we know each other by now. But so what's really interesting? They're a young couple, young woman, young dude. He's got an atrocious haircut.
Yeah, that's his name.
I call him atrocious because he's got the worst haircut I've ever seen. But anyway, you guys
Unimportant.
are gonna love this story at home. They sort of live together, but every now and again he's away, and guess what?
Guess what?
Some other guy comes in, spends the night with her.
It's shock.
They don't hide it either. They're smooching on the balcony.
I don't know what's going
That's
on. It's
crazy.
great.
I wonder what the code of conduct is. Because
Like-
when I saw Atrocious come back, I thought to yell out like,
Like
"Hey,
neighbor
Mac.
code.
Hey, Mac, there's a different guy every Wednesday or whatever."
Or is your hair drastically changing into like
Oh,
a...
God, I wish. Anyway,
No.
they've gone, so we've got no rear
Yeah.
window entertainment.
No entertainment.
I wonder if they've got a podcast and they talk about
I
us.
see some people climbing up on the roofs.
I've seen a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if we do that, it might be risking our lives. So
Well,
stay tuned.
There's a. I don't want to give anything away, but did you know there's a word for it. I don't know what it is, but you've
Are you
like
talking
forced.
to me or them now?
I'm talking to the atrocious. I force published or I early published my ebook for my memoir, Paris on Air. If you're listening for your first ever episode, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. I wrote a book, 250 pages about life in Paris.
It's got a beautiful cover.
Lina did the cover. It is beautiful though. A lot of people have been
Judge your
commenting
book.
on
Judge this book.
Judge it.
Judge by its cover.
But there's two bits that are going to come up in conversation. One is there's a rooftop scene. Mum, if you're listening, you're not going to like that bit.
No.
Some people have already read a lot of the book.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
That's
getting
so exciting.
it's unput
Feedback?
downable. Yeah,
Didn't someone send you, here's a typo?
yeah.
And then it turned out to not be a typo?
Okay, yeah. I'm glad to address this actually. If you do find a typo, the book is printed. Save it.
Don't
Save it and send it to me in 6 months. Right? I don't want to know. But anyway, they said, "Oh, you spelled curb wrong. You spelled curb, K-E-R-B, and that's how you do it in British English and Australian English. So it wasn't even wrong." So I refunded them and I said, "Give me the book back." No, it's
You
not true.
did
It's actually a past guest on the show. I don't think he or she will be listening. So,
That's all right.
but anyway, going out. That's the other
Going
thing
out.
I want to talk about. Using the slip to go out. A lot of people have different reactions, even you and I do, for how to fill in this slip of paper.
Yeah,
But
I think
I-
it says a lot about someone's personality.
Let me.
This is Oliver.
I'll explain at first how it's meant to work. You're meant to print off a piece of paper that's a full A4 page that says, I'll say it properly, I won't sort of sugarcoat it. It says a declaration of the reason to go out. I hereby swear I, on this date, that me at this address is going out for this reason. And then it gives you 4 really lengthy reasons, but essentially exercise, shopping, doctor's appointment, things like that. And you're meant to tick one of the boxes, sign it, print it off. And if you don't have a printer, you can write the whole thing out
By hand.
by hand. So this is where the different personalities come in. How about we explain what each of us do and people at home can try and
Okay,
guess?
so person A
Yeah.
fills out, takes out a paper, takes out a pen, and just kind of scribbles something that you can't really read. You can't like differentiate between the words.
Sure.
And then just
Definitely a lack of the French accents on some of
very,
those.
very haphazardly,
Yeah.
and you can just about see what date it is.
But this
Exhibition
person,
B.
Exhibition A, crucially, doesn't write a lot of the information either.
No.
because person A seems to think that it's a load of nonsense to write it all out. Like, I solemnly swear...
Exhibition A is a bit of a... I don't know.
A bit of a chancer in life. So person A doesn't even write down the other options and leave them unticked. They just write down, for example, I solemnly swear I'm getting food, signed, like that.
Yeah.
Now let's go on to person B. He or she literally copied it word for word. Hang on. So word for word that they even copied the bit that says...
Person B copied the font even.
Yeah. Person B maybe is quite artistic, but person B wrote, I solemnly swear that I'm out for one of these reasons, in brackets, tick the applicable box. Literally the whole thing.
Okay, person B is going a little bit mad.
Yeah, they've gone
person
proper.
B needs something to do.
Yeah.
So person B likes to copy properly.
Yes, yeah. So everyone at home, I'm giving you 10 seconds to guess. Say it out loud. Turn to the person you're listening with and go,
I don't think
my
we
God.
should reveal.
Do you think they already know?
I think they know. You know, don't you?
We'll reveal at the end of the episode.
Ooh, how exciting.
Let's face it, if they're not enjoying this episode, they've switched off already.
True.
The slip, going out, has been a really interesting experience because they're tightening that too. At first, the physical exercise people were sort of...
I have never seen so many joggers in Paris in my life.
Everyone's jogging, yeah.
Like, we're all going to turn into marathon runners by the end of this.
Except some of us are putting on a, what did I call it? A lockdown layer. That's what I said?
Yeah.
Eating extra.
When you came in with all those beignets.
Yeah. I'll get
And
to
a
that.
croissant.
I want to get to that story in a second. We'll finish on that. But first I want to talk about going out. They've really been tightening the rules on the exercise. Because obviously at the beginning, no one takes it seriously. People bring a soccer ball out with them. And there's 10 of them. They say, hey, we're all just going for personal exercise together. So they cut it back and they said, if you're going to run, you can run for 2 kilometers. So...
Yeah.
Just a small run,
in
not a
total
10k
or in,
run.
like, in distance from your home? Because I
No,
find
in total, they said you can't go for... Well, I guess you can... What they've tightened it down to now is if you're going out to stretch your legs or something, 20 minutes once a day max, and don't go more than 1 kilometer away from your house, right? And if not, you pay 135 euros.
Yeah.
So, in terms of our exercise, we haven't been going out that much.
No, we've been trying to be really, really good.
I'd say on average, I've been outside of the house 20 minutes per day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on one of the first days I went for a slightly longer run. Not really, maybe 30-minute run. And there were a lot of plainclothes policemen stopping people.
I know.
And
it's really scary.
And I thought, well, I'm not going to run too far. And if they stop me, they'll know straight away that I don't run very often. I was thinking if they stopped me that I'd jog on the spot and be like, oh, guys... Just on my daily run, you're interrupting here.
Gotta keep my pace up.
But the truth is that, and we talked about this a lot, the reason we're not to go out is to not infect other people. And even when you think you're all by yourself, you can still be
touching things.
And whatever. But also there's I've been reading a lot of it online. There's a lot of other things like, let's say I get hit by a car, or stabbed in a robbing, or in a robbery. Which would be stupid because I don't bring anything with me anyway. Then I have to go to the hospital, and that would be terrible.
You don't want to fill up beds, I guess.
Yeah, so
it makes sense. It really does.
The most interesting of the walks, though, is now you're not allowed to go out together. So Lina and I wouldn't be allowed to go for a walk together anymore. You can
we did last night.
Which we did
before they tightened it further.
And that's, I think, worth talking about because it was really weird.
It was eerie.
That was one of the weirdest walks I've ever had in Paris.
It really was.
So setting the scene, 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
In Montmartre, where we live, and we figured we'd do a kind of loopy around the house so as not to go too far. And I was a bit on edge because I felt like they were cracking down on 2 people being together. We were walking rather than running, so I felt a bit on edge about that as well. And we're walking through the empty streets, and a car rolls up slowly behind us. And I turned to you and I was like, I bet it's police. Lo and behold,
it definitely was.
It was police.
Yeah, and they just they looked at us.
They went really slow and looked at us.
Yeah, And you started jogging on
Did
the
I?
spot. You didn't actually transport yourself, you just started jogging.
I was striding though to make it
And you were like,
certainly look
who's this stranger pointing at me, spitting at me?
But they didn't stop us.
He didn't.
And they kept going towards Sacré-Cœur, and I said, let's follow them. Because I didn't like the feeling of being...
You feel guilty.
I know, it's so weird.
You feel like a criminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I say you, as
We.
in you personally, but
One.
also one.
One feels like a
Yeah.
criminal. And so what we did is we followed towards Sacré-Cœur because I was sure they were going to go and talk to people up there. And they pulled over in Place du Théâtre, the artist square, dead empty, but people were gathered having drinks in the corner. And they went and split them up.
Naughty.
And so we walked the other way homewards through the usually bustling streets of Montmartre. They passed us again, freaked me out again. And it kind of reminded me of like what I imagine occupied France
Yeah.
would have been like. Not in any way the same fear and all that, but more the fact that it was empty, but people were clearly in their houses and you weren't meant to be on the streets.
Yeah, and it was weird. I know that it's for the greater good and the best and everything, of course. But it was weird in a way to feel like it is empty and the police weren't there for your I guess they are there for your protection. Like,
It's just
don't
quite
get me wrong,
counterintuitive,
but
isn't it?
It was strange feeling.
It is a strange feeling. They're
Because
there
we
to,
were just
well, the police are out to
outstretching our
the police are
legs.
out there
We
to get
didn't
you in
actually
trouble.
do anything wrong.
Yeah,
But yeah, the police are out.
they're out to
get
catch you.
essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But to save us as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is
So,
weird. We can't explain it. You'd have to live through it. But as I've said every day that I've been doing these podcasts and live videos on Facebook, YouTube, I just want to document it. Journalists' instinct kicked in. A lot of listeners probably don't know I was a journalist. I came to Paris to cover terror attacks. And
Paris has been through a lot.
yeah, in the 5 years which is
love
another
that.
reason, by the way, that I wanted to write that memoir, was because
Just a document.
Paris has been a really interesting city over the
Yeah.
past 5 years, and I feel like I've kind of been really involved in it, working as a journalist and telling people stories and sharing stories. But the other thing that I wanted to say about how weird the walk was because all the cafes and restaurants were closed at 9 o'clock that are usually open. Everyone who would usually be at those cafes are in their apartments above them. So a lot of lights are on and you see a lot of people moving around or playing music or dancing. We saw all sorts of things
Yeah,
going
we saw
on.
people like practicing a dance together, which was
Yeah.
quite nice.
So it was really
But
eerie.
really strange.
Eerie to see people. We knew everyone was
So
around us,
usually
but
it's
no
the
one was out.
opposite. It's like empty
Yeah,
houses and
exactly.
bustling streets.
Yeah, you often walk around Paris thinking, why are all these apartments empty?
Yeah,
But now it was kind of the opposite.
yeah.
Anyway,
That's interesting.
I wanted to talk about using the form today.
Mm-hmm.
I rewrote a new one. Should we say who the forms were? I think we can give it away.
Yeah, I think so.
I was person...
Hey!
Hey, of course I was. And I told
Rebel.
I told a friend about it today, and he said, that's who you are. I said, I'm the scientific test, so we can see what we can get away with on these papers. You know, I'm the, I don't know what you call it. In science, like the experiment.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
word
yeah.
for it. Someone knows. But I'm
yeah.
that guy to find out what we can get away
Are
with.
you doing it for humanity?
Yeah.
For the greater
yeah,
good?
yeah.
Yeah.
So today I went out to get, we'd run out of bread. So the first time we gone food shopping, we got excellent, not hoarding
Not
at
at
all.
all.
Or
We're just like
stockpiling.
meal planning, which
Yeah.
we've never done
We've
in our
never,
lives.
Yeah, because we don't have an oven.
No.
And we've got such a small kitchen and
Our
apartment.
kitchen is the size of like 2 ironing boards.
It actually is. It is about this, yeah. And the bench space of 1 ironing board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the sink is on a terrible angle, so it hurts your
terrible.
back to wash up. 'cause
terrible,
you have
terrible.
to twist.
All around terrible.
It's a
But
pretty
cute.
bad apartment
No, we
in
love it.
terms of size. But I love this place.
Yeah, me too.
Chapter 9.1 in the book is when I found it. I'm going to be promoting... Listen, guys, let's be honest with each other for a second. I'm going to be promoting the book because it pains me to say a lot of you guys who've had your trips cancelled to Paris feel like you don't need Paris so much anymore, or you're not intending to come here. And it breaks my heart to say, but people have been deleting their pledges on Patreon, that's my salary. That's how I survive. So if you're one of those people, and I'm putting an appeal out to the people who've emailed me, I've been meaning to sign up on Patreon. It's like $5 a month, or 10 for the full membership. If you can afford it and you've been meaning to do it, now's the time to sign up, and there's so many bonus things and I'll be doing more. Or if you hate the idea of a monthly payment, get the ebook, $10, and get yourself something to read. theeiffeltower.com/memoir. But I wanted to tell a funny story about using that slip today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we haven't talked about this yet. I went to the bakery.
Yeah.
It's not that funny, actually. It's kind of sad.
Oh.
It was really empty. And I went in there, but it was the same lovely woman who I wrote about it in the book, is why I bring it up, is I hadn't gone in there for a couple of days once because we were on holidays in Sweden. And when I came back, I didn't even really know her at this point, but when I walked in, and this is kind of give an example of the Montmartre community that you get into once you live here, I walked in there and she goes, "Ah, monsieur, he's returned from les vacances." She said it all in French. And I was like, what a
So
welcome
friendly.
feeling to be in your local boulangerie that they notice when you've been on holidays. So I went in today and there was no one there. She said it's really been empty. Not to mention there's 3 boulangeries open on Rue des Abbesses in a row.
But you would think that people go out more to them now.
Yeah, I think everyone's
Or-
slowly going out less and less.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
And
anyway,
it's not none of the like spontaneous picking up some bread even if you don't really need it.
so I stockpiled as well. And I got 4 beignets and 2 croissants.
Lockdown layer.
And one baguette, and it was. I had a really nice conversation with her because usually it's so rushed in there.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to end up instead of promoting my stuff, I thought I'd promote your stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not?
Well,
What I think has been really cool, and we should do a proper interview about this at some point.
we can do a little quick once over.
Quick fire round.
Quick fire round.
I'll introduce it by saying if you guys don't follow Lina on, you're pretty much just on Instagram.
Yeah,
At Parisian Postcards.
that's me.
Parisian Postcards. What I like that she's doing is she's using this quarantine period to be creative. Painting a watercolor every single day. Something Parisian.
Yeah, something Paris related. I decided it. So I just finished my day 4. I decided to paint Shakespeare and Company today. So I do something Paris related every day, and I set myself this task because I thought it would be really good for my mental health to have like a daily mission, if you will. Yeah.
You know what I really like about
It's
it?
been good.
I
so
really
far.
like that you're doing it in the same book, page by page by page.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's a flex. It's like, you know, if you really mess one up.
Oh no. There are no torn out pages.
No,
here.
that's what I like
No.
about it. I love it.
No,
I
it's
love
very. What do you call it when it's like in order?
It's sequential.
Concentration.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But let's do the quick fire round. But first, I'm pointing a pen at you.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry
I
about
feel
that.
quite threatened.
I just remembered that my own brother, Tom, who has never been on the show before.
Hi, Tom.
But he's turned, after 3 years, he started listening to the show.
Yeah, you
And
begged
he's-
and pleaded for the first 2, and then you gave up in the third, and
Yeah,
here
yeah.
we are,
He's
Thomas.
He's obsessed with the show all of a sudden, which I think is great. Maybe he's not even in lockdown yet, but he said it was great. He said, "Oh, I want to send in a question. I want to shout out." Little does he know, over the years I've been saying, I've been tearing them to shreds. But he said, "Oliver, are the post offices closed?" That's his question. And I went up today in Place des Abbesses,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, Tom and everybody else, it is closed and boarded up.
Which is interesting because we can still get deliveries to us.
But I think it'd be hard to post something, and I don't know how essential it would be.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think you have to maybe order like in a DHL pickup
Yeah.
or. Okay, no pub, DHL, UPS, you know.
Do you think no pub, like no publicity?
Yeah, no pub.
Any brand you want, guys. But yeah, I think that would be one
Insert
way.
valid transportation service.
That would be one way around it. But thanks for listening, Tom.
Yes.
Now for your quick fire round. You ready?
Okay.
If you were to paint one thing, if for lockdown ended tomorrow, what's it going to be?
Your face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're going to paint...
I'm so stressed now.
if you're going to paint a landmark in Paris, what's it going to be?
That's hard.
Eiffel Tower. Too late. Next, what if you can paint a dead person from France? Who would it be?
A dead person. That's really
A
boring.
famous figure.
In their like current state.
Yeah, you're stalling.
Okay. I'll go for Edith Piaf. I like her eyebrows.
Ooh, thin eyebrows, right?
Tiny.
What
Tiny
about
little things.
What about a French food?
Food. Let's go for How about a baguette? Because it's such a weird, awkward shape.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's hard to make that nice, so I set myself the challenge.
Okay, and last question. If you could paint one last time our view, would you do it from the back balcony or the front balcony?
Front.
You've done
Every
that one
day.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, so a shout out to Lina. Have you got an answer for the one that you didn't? Landmark.
Okay, let's say the carousel outside of KB. That's not really a landmark.
Yeah, that's
but
nice.
for us, it's a landmark.
That's nice, yeah. There's a carousel in Place des Abbesses that I mentioned before,
Yeah.
which features in the movie French Kiss that I watched on the recommendation of French Girl in Seattle the other day, and interesting movie to say the least.
Not for us.
Not really for us, but I can see why people might like it.
Yeah.
Thanks, French Girl, for the tip. We'll watch anything, by the way, because we've got time.
Oh yeah. I mean, we don't have plans. Our weekend plans are essentially having moving from room to room, having a dinner in the bedroom,
It's
and
Friday
moving
night,
on
Friday
picnic.
night date night tonight as well.
I know. We
But-
set to meet in the living room at 7.
I want to do
Black tie.
Oh yeah, okay. I wanted to also give. So before I get into some of the questions from Kickstarter, you know, the people that bought the deluxe package of the book, I figured I'd just explain properly. Instagram.com/Parisian postcards. That's you.
C'est moi.
Etsy.com/shop/Parisian postcards. You can buy her prints.
Yeah.
And they really are beautiful prints. Support an
you.
artist who can't sell shoes or handbags
Yeah,
in the stores in Paris.
Yeah, they're being held captive in Printemps. And the other shop up in Montmartre, they're captive.
That's so weird. You know, I'm going to say it because I know you won't. Lina will do a commission painting as well. So get in touch with her if you want to, you know, if you're in a position where you can buy a commissioned piece of watercolor art, get in contact with her, I guess, on Instagram or email me. She'll paint you something, won't you?
I will. I've done plenty before.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is quick fire reading of some of those emails via Kickstarter. Maybe there'll be questions for both of us, or you can help me with answering them. But Peter Golan, he says, one of the pricier perks on this Kickstarter campaign was a guided walk in Paris. Is this something you'd consider doing in the future for interested paying visitors? That's a great question, Peter. And here's something I'm going to reveal. I do that sometimes.
You do?
I don't think I ever really advertise it. This is probably the first time I've ever mentioned on the show, but I do. So
Private walks.
yeah, I don't advertise it because I don't want to be a tour guide. I think there are people doing great tour guide jobs, and I wouldn't want to be doing it 24/7. But when listeners of the show get in touch, I'm happy to show Paris.
That's nice.
But I wouldn't advertise. I don't think I'd want to take people around who don't know the show and know who I am. You know?
Well, you're not that kind of tour guide.
No, I talk about, you know, the kind of Paris I talk about on this show. Lisa Wayseth, I think you pronounce it. Because once I said on the show, Lisa Wayseth, and she said I pronounced it wrong. I think it's Wayseth. She says, Lisa from Tacoma, Washington, USA, says, Oliver, if you're going to be exiled from Paris tomorrow, where would you spend your final day, and where would you prefer to live in exile?
Oh, quickfire round.
Kind of in exile at the moment, right? Oh no, exiled from Paris tomorrow. Where would you spend your final day? And where would you prefer to live in exile? Final day. Exile. Is that one day?
Just go for it.
I think I'm really interested in Rome at the moment. Not now, when everything's... if it's today...
Would you be exiled in Rome?
What does it mean, exiled?
That's where you're like gonna live from now on.
For a day, though.
Forever.
Yeah, for one day.
For one day?
Where would you... Hang on, if you're going to be... Lisa, come on. For a quick fire round, you didn't make it very clear. If you were going to be exiled from Paris tomorrow, where would you spend your final day in Paris? And then where would you prefer to live? Sorry, Lisa.
Oh, God.
So my final day in Paris, same question I ask everyone then. I've never thought of my own answer, but probably Montmartre. I think I'd just do the walk. I'd walk all day. Every single street. Narrow cobblestone, stop in my favourite coffee shop, bakery, say hello, and probably steal stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got a looter.
What do I care? And then I think if I have to live in exile, does that mean like I'm a prisoner or something
You're
like
like
that?
Napoleon on
Oh,
that on
God.
Elba.
Okay, I'd go to Elba.
What? Worst answer.
No, I don't know. I'd probably go to an island in Australia. How about
Isn't there only one? Tasmania.
that? The whole country's up.
Yeah,
That was
there
a
you go.
difficult question.
Well,
You asked me
on
my
to
own
the
question.
next one.
I'll do a couple more. Nolene and Jeff from Fremantle say, Oliver will be in Paris in early June and you won't be there. So sad. Nolene and Jeff are referring to the US book tour, which might not happen, and Nolene and Jeff, your trip might not happen either.
Yeah.
So you're wrong on everything, and so are we probably.
See what happens with
But
that
hey,
one.
look, maybe your trip will go ahead, and we might be here too.
I went to Fremantle once.
Fremantle's lovely.
That was really nice.
It was Nolene who once sent tickets to that concert. Lorena McKenna.
Yes.
Remember I mentioned on the show
great.
before. Hi, Nolene!
Hello.
Okay, 2 more. You ready? Robin from Sydney's Northern Beaches says, Oliver, what's your favourite autumn lunch spot? She's probably referring to a restaurant. I don't really go to restaurants so often, but I do go to parks for a sandwich all the time. And I had a particularly nice sandwich the other day in that little square out the front of Picasso's old studio in Montmartre.
With the trees?
Yeah, with the trees. And I often tell the story to people. An early listener to this show who was on the show, Colby Fox, I wonder if he's listening still to this day. He told me that he went there once after I mentioned on the show, picked up like an acorn, planted it at home, and hoped that his grandkids would run under the same trees that Picasso did. And I love that story.
That's so romantic.
So it'd probably be there up in Montmartre. Let's do one last one. Mystery Man on the interweb says, Paris is always a good idea. Thanks, Mystery Man. That's not a good one to end on, though, but it's a good little quote. Hang on. David T says, Go dogs. Go dogs. All right. Let's end on this one. Liz in Sydney says, without the Eiffel Tower, Paris would seem so much further away. I particularly love when the red Vespa comes out to play, just like my one.
Oh, in Sydney.
Wow, well, thanks for... Yeah, red Vespa. Send us in a picture of your red Vespa, Liz.
I didn't picture Sydney as a Vespa town.
No, me neither. But good to know.
Huh.
So there you go. It's too late to get a shout out and support the Kickstarter, but you can still get the memoir. www.theeiffeltower.com/memoir. Otherwise, go and sign up on Patreon. Now is the day. Now's the day to do it. And I'll see you over there. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to check out Lina. And Lina, I'll see you in the living room.